Welcome to day 633 of our Web3 journey. I'm Ed Krasenstein here with my twin brother Brian. And remember, these videos are sponsored by NFT Tech. They're an investor in DeSoFi. So the drama continues on Twitter, Brian. I think it's been ongoing since Elon took over. The last 24 hours have been a super crazy 24 hours on Twitter. After they rolled out these new rules, they rolled out new rules about what you can and cannot post when it comes to your other profiles. And these new rules made it against their terms of service to post links and have profile bio links to your other accounts. So on various other social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Mastodon, several others, Truth Social. They also said you can't have links to Linktree, I guess because they assume you could just link to Linktree and Linktree can link to these other accounts. I mean, you could also make a web page and splash page, homepage with links to these too. So I think it's going to be really hard if they really wanted to do outlaw these. And then shortly after that, Elon tweeted that he apologizes and that going forward that he's going to put all major policy changes to a vote. This was after a lot of people just didn't like what Elon did here. Even
Yeah, and
conservatives, liberals, like both sides of the political aisle, people from all over the world just didn't like it.
I noticed that this morning when I went to the Twitter support page that had these new rules, that is now a 404 error and they're gone. So it appears that they are going to maybe not implement these rules or maybe tone it down a little bit. We'll see.
So then minutes after that tweet, Elon puts another tweet up and it was a poll and it was asking if he should step down as the head of Twitter. And the voting actually closed with 57.5% saying yes and 42.5% saying no. So will he step down? I don't know. Brian, I know you voted no.
Yeah, so I mean I voted no. I definitely understand those who voted yes. I was on the fence on this one for sure, but I did decide to vote no. And I actually replied to Elon's poll and I gave a reason why I voted no. And this reply got 25,000 likes, but I got a lot of hate from it too. I simply wrote, I vote no because you show that you want to improve. I then told him to own his mistakes and to move forward and just continue to improve. I personally feel that Elon has a longer term vision that involves major changes to the Twitter algorithm to hopefully improve some of the echo chamber issues that we see on social media. I think across all social media, we see things like this. I want to repeat, I have been one of Elon's biggest critics. I'm especially angry at some of the politically driven rhetoric he posts, the prosecute Fauci stuff. I think there's no need for that. I think number one, it's going to endanger people. It can piss a lot of people off and endanger other people. I think number two, you're going to alienate a substantial portion of your user base when you post things like that. I also wasn't a supporter of him bringing back some of the more hateful, more dangerous people. I mean, there's literally some people that I would define as Nazis that he brought back. There's white supremacists. That I think that I I think that even though I totally disagree with some of his actions, I don't know if him leaving is the immediate solution. Remember, he still owned the company.
Yeah. So I have a few things I want to add. Number one, I voted no as well, and that's because I just don't know who would take over. Like, could it be somebody else? Could it be somebody from the Saudi royal family or somebody who they want? Since the Saudis do have a huge investment in Twitter, we don't want a government of another country putting their person in charge. And he was at the World Cup, of course, sitting with the Qataris, sitting with the Saudis, I believe, yesterday, along with former Trump White House official and son-in-law Jared Kushner. Uh, there's rumors that Jared Kushner might become the next CEO. I doubt it. I think that would be a terrible mistake as well. But we don't know who would take over, so I think I don't want to see that happen right now. Uh, Also, Twitter, it's just, it's his thing. He's doing what he wants. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes.
Yeah, and I think he's in the initial phase of definitely a larger plan that I think likely will deboost some of the more hateful rhetoric. I think he's even said this, that he allows these people to have accounts, but eventually what's gonna happen are these algorithms that he puts in place will push that content so far down that unless you're specifically searching for it, you're not gonna find it.
Hopefully.
And I think that could be a solution. But I think it's going to take many months before we get to that point where the algorithms are ready and Twitter as a company is ready to implement everything. As you can see on the screen right here, not everybody was a fan of my comment. I got a whole lot of hate for my reply. And I think this brings us full circle back to the whole echo chamber problem that Twitter has. And I think, like I said, I think Elon could solve this if he really wanted to. I think he knows how to do it. For example, I just want to give this example. My reply to Elon garnered 25,000 likes, but I actually lost 800 followers within like 3 hours. And I think I got blocked by hundreds of users. And people don't, and I think this is because people don't want to hear anything outside their echo chambers. Even more moderate posts like the one I made, people that follow me don't want to hear it. People who follow me are mostly left leaning because most of my political views are to the left or lean left. And if I really cared about my follower count, which I really don't. I mean, I didn't have Twitter for 3.5 years. I don't really care about my follower count. But if I did, I think like most people do, then I would never have made that post reply to Elon. And instead, I would have continued to push my views further to the left in order to get more followers instead of lose followers. And people who are more divisive and posts which are more extreme outperform people who are more moderate and posts that are more moderate. And Twitter needs to figure out how to change that.
And the same thing
Not
goes for
only,
journal. I think the same thing goes for journalists too. You know, if you have that headline, that catchy headline, bring it as close to, as you can to the extreme side of things without defaming anyone, I think you're going to get the most views on your article. So it goes for journalists, it goes for Twitter, social media users in general. You want to provide your readers, you want to provide your followers with what they want to see, because that's going to get you the most views.
well, and this is something new to the internet. Before you had newspapers, and newspapers weren't didn't need to create crazy headlines in order to sell papers all the time. They didn't need to kind of look for the most extreme views in order to sell these papers, because you usually had a subscription to a newspaper. Sure, you were selling them on newsstands and whatnot, but overall it's a subscription model. But like I was saying, I think Twitter needs to figure out how to change this echo chamber driven business model, not only for their own future, but for the future of society in general. And this goes for every social media platform out there. They're built to drive traffic to their sites via extreme views, divisive rhetoric, and extreme users. And this has to change if we're going to try and unite people rather than continue to pull them apart, because it's just only going to get worse and worse.
Yeah. And like you said, I think that's something Elon could probably do. He could probably come up with some algorithms, or his team could come up with algorithms that push more of the moderate posts up, maybe posts that get likes from people who like left wing and right wing posts. And I'm not just talking politics, I'm talking everything, like people who like electric cars, people who don't like electric cars, people who like the Philadelphia Eagles, people who like the Dallas Cowboys. I think the stuff that can be pushed up from from people from all angles of the spectrum, whatever spectrum you're talking about, I think that's what's going to help Twitter.
Yeah. So
So,
let's move on to the DeSo blockchain, and what did Nader have to say?
yeah, so Nader yesterday on a Twitter Spaces that Alex Villegas set up. Alex Villegas set up this Twitter Spaces. Ash Diso was on hand. Nader was there. He is talking about decentralized social media. He's talking about Elon's plans on Twitter. He's talking about what he thinks is going through Elon's mind. A lot of people were there, well over 100 at most of the time. I think over.
It was actually over 400 for probably about 40 minutes to an hour. So I mean, it got pretty bumping in there after you left, Ed.
Yeah, I think overall they had like almost 2,500 total different people viewing the space. So it was a good space, a lot of exposure for Nader, exposure for DSO. I think it's something they should keep doing.
it was good conversation. I mean, there are people that were skeptical of DSO talking, and then there's Nader, there's Alex, there we were there. So it was a good back and forth, and I think people learned a lot. I think it was a good way for DSO to kind of get out there to some new people.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to remind everybody that NFTZ and Unicat one of one gold NFT ends today. The Psycho Cyborgs Unicat at 2 p.m. Eastern time. It's an auction. It's currently up to 2.01 DSO. BitClout FR leads the way in the bidding war between him and there's actually 9 others: FP Fund, DSO Masks, Visna Solarin, Striga, Manic, Brutal, Studio Richards, Random Videos, and DOZ are all in on that bidding. Ends at 2 p.m. and you have a chance to get this NFT if you want.
Yeah,
And
and I'm excited to see what we roll out next week and the week after, because we have some pretty cool OGs that are collaborating with NFTZ on this.
yeah, and if you are an OG, reach out to NFTZ and you could have your collection featured in the giveaway as well. So as many of you know, NFTZ's the only place where you can post and view lifetime DSO NFT auctions. Just go to nftz.me/auctions. You can see all of the auctions that are ending soon. I want to highlight a couple that are ending in the next 24 hours. Studio Richards has his Pinging Pong NFTs ending today. There's several of these up. There's these 2 penguins. Really, really interesting, really cool. At 10 a.m. Eastern time today, they end. And there's more great NFTs by DSO Radio Art and Art2Z with his collection as well. They all end today. A lot of great NFTs out there. Definitely check them out.
Yeah, and I just want to get to the top NFT bidders over the last 24 hours, thanks to NFTZ for this list. These people bid on the most NFTs on the DSO blockchain last day. Dead Metal, Mr. Music, Owen Pink 73, Insomnia Tutor, Comp Deck, Jimmy, Rain Man, Bad Boy, Skin Lover, and Zoran. And the top diamond creators of the last 24 hours, thanks to our friends at Alton Base, these people received the most diamonds or tips on their posts and replies on DSO over the last day. Now and Then, Skin Lover, Gold Lux, Panini, This Day in Music History, Clout Women Unite, McMarsh, Vampire Campfire, Striga, and Riga. Striga and Riga right next to each other.
Yeah, and everybody have a great rest of your day. Check out these events. Thanks to Miss Katie Ann for providing us. These are events that are taking place regarding DSO today. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.